seen the footage?
What, man?
What footage?
At this point, everybody's seen the footage. Y'all see the tagline on the shit. Y'all, everybody knows what we're here to talk about. I assume that if you're here, you've likely seen the footage.
Everybody's seen the footage, man. Show the tape.
All right, Jizzle, you saw the footage?
I definitely seen the footage.
Was it indeed R. Kelly peeing on that young lady?
Yo, I mean, listen. if she didn't want to get peed on, she'd have moved out the way.
I'm just playing.
It's Boondocks.
Okay.
But
okay, no. Let's lay it out. Let's lay it out one time. All right, so this whole thing started last week, WrestleMania week, get the ball rolling on the press, everybody popping up at their little, you know what I'm saying, they little press junkets, they little talk shows, they little podcasts, you know what I'm saying, guest appearances and all of that. CM Punk gave his first interview since rejoining the WWE, appeared on Ariel Helwani, laid out basically his feelings and his thoughts on the company, and expressed his point of view on what happened with the Jack Perry fight, scuffle, kerfuffle, if I will, at All In London. And, that amongst other things, as far as his opinion of Tony Khan as a booker and as a boss, his opinion on NDAs and, just the return to WWE in totality. Right. Apparently that, coupled with a shot that Triple H ended up taking at one possible Will Ospreay, and Jade Cargill speaking on her experience in AEW and her decision to jump ship over to WWE, rubbed Tony Khan the wrong way. Apparently he got a little bit hot and bothered, and he wanted to retaliate. And I guess the big idea behind that was to express or expose one CM Punk with this whole video. That I guess CCTV, the footage that
security footage, nigga.
This footage that basically ended up being the reason why CM Punk was released and fired with cause from AEW. So they showed this footage, and they were very transparent. They were very transparent with saying, yo, we are 100% trying to drive interest and drive eyeballs to the program, to get people to watch it, to get people to check us out, see what's going on. And, of course, ultimately drive interest for the pay-per-view Dynasty. So the Young Bucks, they presented this footage. And I don't know, man, what did you think of it, Jizzle? Because I feel like you're ready to say something and you're ready to go. So what did you think of the footage? What did you think of the footage itself? Go.
I mean, the footage itself didn't show us anything that we didn't already know already, because the nigga's been fired for this shit already. Like, he didn't went on Ariel Helwani and said what he did for that shit already. It wasn't no sound. Like, it was definitely a clickbait, cloudy. Cause when it first happened, like when we first heard that shit happened, what did we say? We was like, this nigga looks like a fucking goof. I'm like, look at this nigga looking like a goof. You know what I mean? Choking out Jack Perry for some shit that only you two know about, but you wouldn't be like, yo, internet bullshit. But no, nigga, only us knew about that shit. So, like, yo, man, I mean, you choked him a little bit.
Only us knew about that. Like, only us and
I mean, like the real glass Crimea River shit. Like, nobody really knew what that shit was until like shit came out about the fight and shit. Like, so like we already knew that CM Punk was wrong, and he's admitted that. Listen, I probably didn't need to handle it that way. But like, yeah, that shit happened. So like, what's the point of like? And then, like, trying to fucking mask it under, like, no, we're going to blame FTR for this shit. Like, FTR has literally nothing to do with this shit. You're better off blaming Samoa Joe and Hook for this shit. And Hook was really minding his business. Nigga was like, oh, shit, what the fuck?
All right, like, Ben, can you jump in?
Yeah, the whole thing with that is, like CJ said, it was literally word for word, bar for bar, what CM Punk said on Ariel Helwani in his interview with Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour. Because he said, yo, he came to me And I walked up to him after he came backstage and I said, "Hey, what's good?" He said, "Hey, you feeling like you want to do something? Go ahead." He said, "I choked him a little bit." The fight was broken up. I called Tony Khan around. I went back to my room and I went out to have my match after because I didn't want to let the boys down. Literally everything that happened. So my thing was, I said this earlier on in the day. I said, the only way you can get away with this, like saying like, "Oh, we got the footage, we got the footage, we got the footage," is if it's a swerve and it's some being the elite shit. Because if you show the footage and it's exactly the way the CM Punk described it, you're going to be an asshole. You're going to contribute to the legacy of CM Punk. You're going to make him even more of a hot commodity than he already is, and that's saying something. So adding that on top of that, and then my shit went, but then mixed in with the fact that he don't even work here no more. Why are we showing video of a nigga that don't work here anymore? It's just all over the place and it doesn't make sense. And you come out looking like an asshole. Either way it goes.
I mean, not really.
Yes, really, because like, yo, you're like, I'm gonna embarrass this nigga. He didn't lie during the video.
No, like everything that happened that he said happened, it did happen.
Word for word, bar for bar. This just makes you look bad. And then on top of that, we get a report that comes in today from Wade Keller, the PW Torch, saying the Bucks didn't even want to put out that footage. They even told Tony Khan, "Hey, this is not going to do nothing for us." But he is so focused on embarrassing CM Punk and getting his revenge and getting back at him for what he said on the MMA Hour, because we all know Tony Khan, he like, yo, AEW cool as shit, but he cannot take criticism. I said it before. If you would have, if they would have told this nigga back when he said the shit about Big Swole, like, "Hey, you can't talk about people like that," maybe he would have listened to people later on. Maybe he would have learned to take criticism. Maybe he would have learned, like, okay, I can't hold on to this stuff and move on. People are gonna talk regardless. But no, y'all let him run away with this, and no one has corrected him. No, I mean the people within the company, not you.
You can't let me do shit. Tony Khan, nigga, like, I run this shit. Like, he needs to know. Like, we've been said this shit. Like, I seen the way he talked to Yannick Ngakoue on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, he don't give a fuck about none of you wrestler niggas if I talk to this nigga like this. Like, this is real millions that we talking about. I don't listen, man. If that's what y'all want to do, go ahead. Like, they try to mask it under the little FTR Young Bucks match that's supposed to be coming at Dynasty. And like, I just don't understand what's the point of doing that. Like,
okay, so
even FTR said,
let me step in.
And they said this in camera. They said, "What does this have to do with us?" Is 8 months ago. I'm sorry, Greg. You go ahead.
There's a conflicting report coming from Fightful Select that the Young Bucks were actually okay with doing this.
Oh, okay. So all right, my bad.
I'm not here to say who's right or who's wrong, but I do want to say that there is a conflicting report.
So it's 50-50. It's up in the air. Well, either way, whichever way you want to put it around. If they were for it, they were against it. This shit is corny. This shit is corny.
All right, so
and on top of that, people. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
From a storyline perspective, like y'all mentioned, they tried to, bring it into tie it into the tag team title tournament, tie it into the feud with FTR and the Young Bucks. Basically, what they were saying was, because of this situation, they were distracted at All In and they didn't have their eye on the ball. They're using this as an excuse to say why they lost to FTR in that match, which they were billing basically as the match to determine the greatest tag team of all time. So they're saying that because of the way the card was laid out, it was literally the Jack Perry hook match. It was CM Punk, Samoa Joe. It was FTR versus the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying that because this happened literally right before their match, they had to figure out all of this stuff from a management perspective. And then they had to snap back into wrestler mode, and they were thrown off of their game. And right. that's why this time around, that won't happen.
Hey, like, what about last time around? You know what I'm saying? In the first brawl out that he couldn't talk about, like release that footage. You know what I'm saying? When he was tossing you niggas around, and then Ace Steel and the dog were both
So
buying you niggas in your faces.
this is, in my opinion, their way of reintroducing the Jack Perry character to AEW television. He's been gone for since August of last year.
Yeah.
You feel me? He's been working in New Japan since January.
He's
Tore
doing
up the
groupie shit.
AEW contract. He joined House of Torture. He's got the #1 selling T-shirt on like Pro Wrestling
Scapegoat
Tees
shit.
or wherever. So yeah, he is basically trying to live up that, you know, and play up that scapegoat, you know, mentality, that label, you know what I'm saying? And if you look at the video, yeah, I would kind of say that he was scapegoated because he didn't do anything. He wasn't the aggressor in the fight. I have no idea what he said. He might have said some really out of pocket shit.
No,
If I'm sitting
it
here
don't
trying to talk,
matter.
if I'm sitting here trying to talk to a nigga and he keep playing with his hair in my face, talking about, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it, bitch?
Graham.
What are you gonna do about it?
Graham, if you like,
I'm
if you're the
socking a
leader,
nigga in
if
the
you're the
face
leader
too,
that you
bro.
say you are, nigga, like you should be able to deal with that. Like he put his hands on that nigga because he thought he could.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Yeah,
For
yo,
sure.
yo.
Because
I bet you.
but he also felt like nobody else would do anything though, right?
Yeah.
This is another situation where I keep asking the owner, I keep asking the boss to step in and help out and actually be a boss, be a leader, and he won't do anything. And these other people are telling me, all right, well, why don't you do something? I'm not only a wrestler here, they've brought me in with a second contract as a consultant. So not only so when CM Punk says I'm trying to help run a business here, he's not lying.
But it's like, and you're paying me less than you're paying these so-called EVPs that's running around. You know what I mean? Like I understand his frustrations and shit. But if you're gonna be the leader, like we said this shit when it first happened, like if you're gonna be the leader that you say you are, you can't put your fucking hands on niggas' blood. Like you can't do that. You just got off from doing that, nigga. This is the second time you did that shit, and that's why they
100%.
fired you. If it was the first time that you did it, if you didn't fucking smack up the Bucks and Kenny Omega and the dog went to a draw, they probably would be like, all right, Phil, like don't do this again. And you would still be there, like, but you would still be there, blood. Like, oh, I was waiting to get out. Like, nigga, no, you wasn't, blood.
I believe him when he says that he was trying to get out.
Yeah,
After the brawl out thing and that situation, and he said like Tony's big idea behind solving that matter was to separate them and was to do
that's
the
what
collision.
he just gave him another show.
Yeah, and I didn't think that would work. Nobody believed that would work. Even CM Punk himself says that he didn't think it would work. You know,
because
and you can't put that on him either. That's not fair.
That shit was doomed to fail from the beginning, and like you guys were right. He was right because they still have access to show up, and on top of that, they were sending their buddies, guys that they were friends with, were on that roster, and we're talking shit. So you had Dolph Ziggler brother coming over talking shit. You had other guys come over talking shit. CM Punk was supposedly telling them that they had to leave the show and they had to leave the venue, whatever. But it was never gonna work. And the whole thing is like, I get where they're going with this storyline, and the way that Graham explained it. But the thing is, I can see the destination. But the road to get there is filled with potholes. There's a bridge out. There's one of the banana peels from Mario Kart sitting right there. It's a whole mess. It's stupid. It's really stupid.
And if all right, let's lay it out like this, right? The Young Bucks are the heels, right? And they're saying that this situation that happened distracted them, like had them thrown off of their game or whatever. But they're showing this footage and it seems like they're trying to like babyface Jack Perry, but he's a heel and the faces are the friends of the guy who started the fight. So I'm confused on who you're trying to put over here, because if FTR is supposed to be the good guys and FTR is like, why don't we get over this? Why don't we get over this? Why don't we get over this? Why is it that the Young Bucks the heels are trying to put who am I supposed to root for is what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. Like, y'all are like being petty as EVPs, which I feel like they're trying to basically separate themselves from AEW, the entity, and say like they're going rogue from like a Tony Khan decision. And like this was that's what I feel like they're trying to like the message that they were trying to get over was the decision to air this wasn't an AEW decision. It was a Young Bucks as EVP's decision, because they are again trying to say we're the best, but this is why we're not technically the best. Yada 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 yada. Whatever. But I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic. I feel like it's a strange thing that they're
it would make more sense if he was on TV more. Like if Tony Khan was on TV a lot, like just being staged on TV and not like in these fucking like little like dark matches. Like yo, like if he was on TV like all the time, that shit would make more sense. You going rogue, like the EVPs going rogue from Tony Khan. Like that shit would be a great storyline that you could run back 150 times.
So I'm thinking that Jack Perry is going to come in at Dynasty and help the Young Bucks win the titles. And you're going to get the grouping of the new elite as the Bucks, Okada, and Jack Perry.
Oh, he got to get that belt from Hook too. And they're going to be like a super stable. You could be like elite adjacent.
And not for nothing, there's reports coming out that Hook is like interested in seeing about going to WWE. I think SES Scoops reported that he's like when his contract runs out, like he's like interested in pursuing free agency to see what else is out there. And shout out to Hook if that's true. But the reason why I think they put the footage out there is to show like, yo man, Jack Perry ain't no bitch. He ain't no bitch, nigga. I think that's why they put the footage out there to kind of like get him back.
Oh, that's what it said.
I don't think,
but it didn't work.
I don't think the footage shows that Jack Perry's not a bitch. I really don't think that's what that gets over at all.
Here's the thing. You've been a wrestling fan long enough, and you've been part of the IWC long enough, wrestling Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You already know. When motherfuckers latch onto some shit, they're gonna hold on to it for the rest of their life. I still get people whenever I talk about Chris Jericho who say, Chris Jericho beat up Goldberg, right? You know he beat up Goldberg, right? They're gonna hold on to this for the rest of their lives, because here's the thing: the fight wasn't that bad. If you want to call it a fight or whatever, if you want to describe it as that, whatever. But it really wasn't much of anything. But people are gonna say from now to the end of time that Jack Perry is a bitch. He got bitched out by CM Punk, and that he's a loser. They're gonna hold on this for the rest of their life, and it's not going away anytime soon.
Listen, it is what it is. What's
gang?
What's happening with the gang, man? Big action,
bro.
Like I said, man.
Like, look, nigga tried to grab him by his throat, and he moved his hand. That was the end of it. Like that's regular shit.
He said exactly what happened, and that's what happened. You feel me? So it's like, all right, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But question of the week, you want to run to that real quick as we kind of expand the conversation and you know what I'm saying?
See what y'all think.
So yeah, man, see what what do the people think about it? You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go ahead and press the button, man.